Beauty and the Beast, 1990s, probably the greatest musical that came out of that era, stage and film if you'd ask me. Perfect music, just very well orchestrated. And then obviously we did get a stage play, which I did actually go and see in London when I was a kid. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Just giant people dressed up as Lumiere and Cogsworth, kind of freaky. But anyway, obviously Disney have been working on this method of creating their old animated films and making them into live action. You've had Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, Jungle Book now. Probably Jungle Book is the best of the bunch. You know, soon enough we're getting Lion King. Probably Aladdin's on the way, which is going to be painful, but we will, persevere. The trailer just looks shot for shot as the movie does look. You know, the original animated movie just looks exactly the same to the trailers, and I was just like, oh my god, this looks freaking. What's the point? And don't get me wrong, I was lucky enough to see this early, so give the review to the people, whoever is actually watching me. But what can we say? Begin. Synopsis. Young girl called Belle. She's intelligent. She doesn't want to live in a little village. Dreams of a big life. Loves books. Has a father. Father's an inventor. He goes away, gets attacked by wolves, and gets put into a castle. Well, goes into a castle. Beast imprisons him, and then she finds him, and she's like, "No, take me. I'll be the prison." And then this whole Stockholm syndrome situation happens where she falls in love with her captor. There's talking items, like a freaking candle and clocks, and and it's like the rose. What am I talking about? The Beast is a guy who is vain and male chauvinistic and evil, and well, not evil, but he just loves himself too much. A witch curses him, turns into a beast. She leaves a rose there. Then the rose, when the petals whittle away, he will become a beast forever, and all of his minions and servants will continue being items and wardrobes and stuff. And then he meets Belle, and Belle captivates him, and frickin' she heads head over heels for him eventually, seeing that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. People, look at this face. You can't always love a face like this, can you? But she did. Fair play to her. Anyway, Beauty and the Beast. I liked it. It was good. It's not a shade really on the original for me personally. I like the way that, traditionally we do get a lot of CGI heavy stuff now. Obviously with this we get a lot of CGI, but at the same time, there's real old-fashioned sets in it, which is pretty cool. I like, the way that Bill Shandon's actually shot this. I don't know if Bill Shandon made Dreamgirls, if you don't know, or he actually wrote Chicago. A very good director, I think, for Disney to have in this film. Obviously Marvel work on nerdy B-movie directors, and the Disney franchise are working with credible yet not famous directors, except for Jon Favreau, because Jon Favreau is he smashed the Jungle Book, let's be honest. He does a very good job in orchestrating this film. It is slightly different. The runtime for the animated is 1 hour 20. This is a 2 hour and 10-minute movie. We have added content, added music. The new songs are not great. They don't really stick with you. Obviously, when you when you grow up with the original, you do tend to remember the songs like "Be Our Guest" and "Beauty and the Beast" and the Gaston song, and it just works so well, and it's always in your head continuously, after you watch the movies, of course. I don't really have these songs in my head all the time. That's Les Mis most of the time, or Phantom. That's a different story. So the new songs, they're okay. Obviously, they had the original writer, which I keep forgetting his name, writing the new songs, composed for it. Obviously, they try to drag the movie out as much as they can. that it was okay. You know, you get a bit more backstory about a few of the characters, which was kind of disinteresting at the same time. You know, it's interesting to see that element, but I was just like, cool, when's Be Our Guest coming on? The CGI is pretty decent. It's not to this caliber that they got to with Jungle Book. It's about just beneath my double chin, maybe. But it's pretty decent. A few scenes don't really work, like the Be Our Guest scene, which is like one of those pinnacle scenes that you expect to be like magical. It doesn't really work very well. It's just I don't know if it's the angling of Watson with Lumiere and the table. It's just you just feel like it's fake, you know. Obviously we know it's fake, but it just doesn't look as organic as, again, I'm sorry for referencing Jungle Book, but it just doesn't seem as effective as it did there. Don't get me wrong, Beauty and the Beast is smashing, you know, the pre-booking, you know, records at the moment. It's going to make a crap ton of money. You know, Disney have so many movies coming out this year, but, you know, between Last Jedi and this, they're going to rake billions, which is understandable. When it comes to the cast, I think, you know, the casting is very interesting. Funnily enough, Ryan Gosling was actually asked originally to play the Beast, and then he went to do La La Land. Then Dan Stevens took over. I'm not the biggest fan of Dan Stevens. He's okay. He didn't really bring that animalistic aspect of the Beast to me. Especially there's one scene, you know, when he tries to get her to have dinner, then he's like, you'll starve. It's such like a, well, you know, if you stay there, you're gonna be hungry. You know, it's just not. I think it goes in song, but it's kind of weird. It just doesn't really work for me, that element. For me, Belle, the animated Belle, is definitely the most unique of all the Disney princesses. She's independent. She's intelligent. They all have their special elements, but for me, Belle is the most intriguing. She's a bookworm. You know, she's technically a nerd, which is cool. She has her own vision of life, and, you know, coming from a small town, you can always relate to that. She wants to break free and see the world and blah blah blah. So I really do relate with that, and Emma Watson really is the perfect casting for it. Out of anyone else currently, is there anyone else that really would take the place? Emma Watson is not the greatest singer. I'm going to try and say, I'm going to attempt this now, but in the film, when the Bonjour song comes on, you know, Belle is like, you know, it's always high tones. There goes the baker with his tray like always. And then when Emma sings it, it's like, there goes the baker with his tray like always. It's so low, and, you know, it's the song that should suck you into the film, and it's just like, it's so underwhelming, her singing sometimes. The scene where they're out in the snow and stuff, is just, she's just so subtle in the way she sings. Obviously, I'm not expecting perfect singing, but when you go from potentially one of the greatest musicals ever written, you'd expect this powerhouse of a singer sometimes. You know, the soundtrack's on YouTube now, you should just watch it and listen to it and, you know, make your own opinion. I need to stop being negative about this film, because I did have a really good time. It's fun to, obviously, again, nostalgia. It's great to watch this nostalgia and how it develops, but this is what I do. I criticize these films. It's fun. It's great. You know, we'll talk about more of the cast in a couple of seconds, but I need to just be positive for a couple of seconds. You know, it takes you back to it takes you back to your childhood. And again, this is what cinema's doing at the moment. It's just continuously just bringing us back to the past, where we're not really developing anything. And I'm being negative again, but I cannot stop being negative about this film. I do like it. Okay, it's fun, it's quirky. The Gaston song, Luke Evans, right, I'm going to stop babbling now. Luke Evans was freaking awesome as Gaston. He was pinnacly the best casting in this film. I was shocked to see how well he could sing. He's Welsh, so of course he can sing, but he was great. I liked him a lot. He's a dick in the movie, but he plays the role very well. Along with Josh Gad as LeFou, the whole gay thing, people need to grow up. It is a part of society. It's a part of life now. Deal with it. It's not that bad of a scene. It's not even, it's not like he's, apologies if you're a child and watch this. It's not like he's giving a blowjob to a guy, in the woods in this movie. It's just literally he's dancing with a man who's dressed as a woman. What the hell? Grow up. Anyway, Gaston, very good. Ian McKellen playing Cogsworth, plays the Cogsworth that he should have played in the 1990s version because he didn't want to do it. That was interesting. Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts. Again, she's kind of Angela Lansbury of our time. Let's be honest. I freaking love Emma Thompson. She was very good. My dear friend Ewan McGregor. He's not really my friend, but I consider him a friend. As Lumiere. He kind of sounded Spanish sometimes, but he said this himself. His Be Our Guest, he was a bit flat, but I liked it. Interesting casting again. What else am I going to talk about? Just, when you go and see it, just have a good time. I say this to people, when I go and see movies that I don't really personally want to see, and, a friend of mine will ask, did you enjoy it? And I said, did you enjoy it? If you enjoyed it, it doesn't really matter what I think. This is just my opinion. If you don't like it, deal with it. It's fine. You can unlike this video if you want. You can like this video. Send me an angry tweet. You can send me a death threat if you want. You don't know where I actually live, so that's fine. But I need to stop rambling on about this film now. I will give it 3 stars out of 5. It's fun. It's quirky. It's different. It just falls flat sometimes. I nitpick too much sometimes in these kind of situations. Emma Watson's good. Dan Stevens, meh. Luke Evans for the win. You should watch him in High Rise because he's freaking awesome in that film as well. We will have a Blu-ray update, the first one in a long freaking time, next on the channel. Again, guys, I'm very grateful for everything that, any criticism, I accept it. All the information below, Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram, everything. So I'm going to say different thank yous this time. Obrigado. Gracias. What else? I'm going to just do the rest then. Diolch, arigato, danke, merci. Ciao for now, people.